For this video, I'm going to be demonstrating a way to use cognitive strategies in the classroom. So for cognitive strategies, there are 9 subcategories, and they are contextualization, elaboration, grouping, imagery, inferencing, note-taking, resourcing, summarizing, and transfer. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to use the subcategory imagery to show my demonstration. So this would take place in a kindergarten classroom, and the proficiency level would be for beginners. So for imagery is using visuals, either mental or actual visuals that you have in person to recall information or remember information that you've just learned and want to continue to remember. So for this demonstration, for my kindergartners, we would set them down and I would read the book, Just Going to the Dentist. Now, keep in mind that this is for beginners. So although I'm going to read the book to them, we're going to really point out the pictures in the book, because yes, I'm reading it and they're hearing the story, but they're going to be recalling the story using visuals. So we really want to get those visuals and keep them in their heads. So I'll read the story and point out the visuals. He's going to the dentist. He waits in the waiting room. He plays with things in the waiting room. He goes back to the dentist, back into the office, and he's sitting in the chair. The doctor comes in. Oh, he gets his teeth cleaned. And then the doctor comes in, and it looks like they're drilling his teeth. And then he's looking at his x-rays. The doctor's looking at his teeth. The doctor works on his teeth. And then he leaves. Then he gets a lollipop. And then he goes home and drives in the car. And so as I'm reading this, I'll be pointing out specific visuals that I know are going to be coming up. So the lollipop, for example, he gets a lollipop. So we'll really focus on what does he get after his teeth get cleaned? Where does he go? What does he go in after his teeth get cleaned? The car. And then after that, to use our cognitive strategy and use that practice of imagery and remembering what we just read, we will use these visuals to recall what happened in the story. So we'll talk about what happened first in the story. And if they're a beginner, I might lay only 3 pictures out. Only 3 pictures out. Pick the first thing that happened in the story. Little critter had to go to the dentist. And then we'll pick another 3, and the student will choose the next thing that happened in the story. Now, if I wanted to do this with, let's say, intermediate level students, we could still use the visuals, obviously, because we're practicing imagery. But as they pick what happens first, as they pick their visual, then they'd have to explain. They don't have to read it, but they just have to explain. So they'll pick this, and they pick this, and then they'll say, the first thing that happened was he drove to the dentist. And then they'll go on with the next one. So there's so many different ways. Visuals are, in kindergarten, are huge anyways. And it is a cognitive strategy, but there's so many ways to advance visuals, and there's so many different ways to use them.